About 10 feet in front of me is a guy laying in the street. He's been shot in the head. Whoever shot him was riding a bicycle and ditched his bike right here. No one knows exactly where he is, who he is. The only thing that's clear is that this guy is in the street and dead.
Members of Congress, His Excellency, the President of Mexico.
As the death toll in the drug war rises, President Felipe Calderón of Mexico has put pressure on the United States to help.
There is one issue where Mexico needs your cooperation, and that is stopping the flow of assault weapons and other deadly arms across the border.
This past August, President Obama responded by implementing a controversial new regulation for gun dealers operating in U.S. border states.
Mexico can count on the United States as a full partner in this effort.
The new regulation, strongly opposed by the gun lobby, requires that the over 7,000 gun shops along the border report multiple sales of assault rifles and shotguns to the ATF.
You know, just because I tell you I sold 50,000 of these rifles, that does not make me a bad person. It's just basic business.
Hector Garcia works for CWS Guns, the largest seller of assault rifles in El Paso, Texas.
It's what keeps America free today, is that right there.
Hector believes the government's new regulations are un-American.
Since 1776, they said, hey, you have a right to keep and bear arms. You know, that's no government intervention. They didn't say anything about filling out any paperwork or anything like that.
Does it concern you at all that so many people are being killed in Mexico by American guns?
You feel bad, you know, as a person because somebody got killed and stuff like that, but
that wouldn't stop you from selling these guns?
No.
Yeah. Why?
It's America. Why not?
Hector's views are shared by many across the U.S. We traveled to Wisconsin, a state with some of the least restrictive gun laws in the country, where it is not uncommon to see people packing a pistol on their hip at dinner in a restaurant, or as they shop for supplies at the local hardware store. We went to an open carry gun picnic, where families enjoy a cookout by the lake while packing heat. The picnic's host, John Lehman, was eager to show us his expanding arsenal.
79 rounds in a clip.
What do you have that for?
China. Because they can.
Are you concerned that Obama's going to take your guns away?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And constitutionally, we have the right to carry all of this at any time we want and where we want.
You know, they're finding a lot of AK variants in Mexico, and this is one of the ones that they're concerned about being trafficked around.
Well, there's a problem in Mexico, not in the U.S.
Yeah. But they're using guns that are coming from the U.S. Is that not?
Then why aren't we securing the borders to stop it?
The National Rifle Association shares Lehman's views.
We should condemn this unprecedented attempt to exploit another country's crisis to advance a gun ban here in the United States of America.
With a revenue of over $250 million a year, the NRA is the strongest force for shaping U.S. gun laws.
I mean, like most Americans, I reject the premise that diminishing our Second Amendment freedom could ever curtail Mexico's drug cartels.
This is the kind of callous, unreasoning opposition that you get from the gun lobby. We're talking about interdicting these guns before they get into the hands of these vicious cartel criminals in Mexico. And they're talking about the inconvenience of a form.
Dennis Hennigan is the acting president of the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence. He says the NRA has worked tirelessly to weaken the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the agency tasked with enforcing gun laws.
This is an agency that has lived in mortal fear of its own destruction for literally decades, because the dark cloud of the NRA is always hovering close by. An agency that is under tremendous pressure to do something about this gun trafficking, but doesn't have the legal tools to really do it effectively.
Over the last 4 decades, the NRA has wielded remarkable influence over Congress, persuading lawmakers to curb the ATF's budget.
My problem also is resources. My agency has been at the same amount of manpower since 1972.
Same number of men since 1972. Same, like...
We haven't had a director over 6 years.
And why hasn't the ATF had an active director in 6 years?
It hasn't been confirmed by Congress.
And why do you think that is?
That's the political areas that I'm not allowed to go into.
To make matters more difficult for the ATF, a botched gun trafficking investigation, codenamed Fast and Furious, made national news and emboldened the agency's critics.
An agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms claims the agency has a policy that is actually putting guns in the cartel's hands.
As part of the Fast and Furious investigation, ATF agents in Phoenix allowed suspected smugglers to purchase weapons in hopes of tracking them to the cartel buyers. Only they lost track of the guns, allowing thousands of assault rifles to make their way across the border into the hands of the drug cartels. At the open carry picnic in Wisconsin, the ATF's Fast and Furious operation was the major topic of conversation.
The ATF is arming those people down in Mexico, according to what I've been seeing on the news. So maybe the ATF should put stricter gun control on themselves and leave us, the United States citizens, alone.
You know, we've been around the country and we've talked to a lot of different people. Some of them believe that, you know, the ATF is basically now arming the cartel, you know, because of Fast and the Furious. How would you respond to that?
That's just a small percentage of all the firearms that we're being recovered right now in Mexico.
Like, if you had to put a guess on the percentage, what do you think it would be?
Oh, can I?
No.
I can't speak on this.
We're not speaking on the percentage.
Any mistake we take, it's never always pounced on.
Yeah.
We've got a target on our backs. We always have.
While the politics of gun rights play out in the U.S., the drug war rages on in Mexico. Firearms continue to flow across the border, and the body count continues to rise.
So we're currently back at the CSI headquarters, where they're unloading the latest victim of gun violence in a seemingly endless drug war that has claimed the lives of more than 47,000 people in the past 4 years.